Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Guys, it feels good to be back. Hopefully now a little bit more consistency. So just a real quick update before we get into my new champion that I pulled, my new personal record as far as Spider Stage 10 hard team, and then overall building a Spider Stage 10 hard team. I want to give you guys a quick update. I feel like I owe it to you. Basically, 2 months ago, my wife had a pretty bad, very, very severe foot injury, actually, that put her in the hospital very quickly, okay? So I posted an update on my community tab then. Thank you all for all the prayers since this whole journey has happened. Since then, she's gone through 3 additional surgeries past that first one, so 4 total surgeries. Monday was her most recent and hopefully her last surgery. So on Monday, she had the surgery, got sent home, and then was having excruciating pain. So Monday night, she's back in the hospital, stayed 2 nights in the hospital. So basically, I was in charge of the kiddos. I was doing some work as far as some account takeovers. It was just pretty busy overall and didn't have time to test the champions that were newly released. So as far as the Timid the Fool, I really don't know a ton about him. Like, I'm going to try to work on some test server stuff with him. So far, what I've seen, players are kind of like, yo, I'm skipping this fusion. It's not really worth it. I'm going to go for it because I feel like if I'm going to do the events anyways, I might as well go for it. It's a Fragment Summon event. So far, the events have kind of, from what I've seen, been pretty high as far as points go. I know the Dungeon Diver stuff, it always seems so high, 4,800 points. Honestly, I haven't compared it to anything recently, so I can't give too much of an opinion, to be honest. There's really no reason. I'm not just going to throw myself into the echo chamber. But if everybody's saying it's bad, it's probably going to be pretty difficult. And as far as, is he worth it? From what I've seen, no. In my initial reading of his kit, no. However, I'm not going to give a ton of weight to my initial reading of his kit because there's plenty of champions that I've read their kit of, and I'm like, this champion's not that good. And then actually play testing, it's like, okay, this champion's actually really good. So I'm hoping to get some time testing it in the next few days. My wife is doing better. She's recovering pretty well. She's still having pains, but overall, she is doing significantly better than before. Like, she is not in excruciating pain all day long. So enough of that aside, enough of the update, life updates. I want to talk about the team that I made. So Spider Stage 10 hard with my brand new Sishia pull that I got a few weeks ago during the extra legendary event from Ancient Shard. So I'm definitely pretty excited for her, and this is an awesome team. I'm going to talk about some substitutions you can make. I'll talk about all that stuff, but this should be an unlimited FPS, so we should see a 13-second run, I hope. So Sishia activates all the burns, Artak comes in, activates all the burns, and then Nuke comes in and just smacks the Spider down. So a pretty slow 14-second run there. Let me see if I can make this a little bit faster. Now, I think there's probably ways to make this even faster. Let's turn it to low. I don't know what those ways are, though. I've been thinking about some stuff. So basically, if I had a... so Furion definitely can make it faster because he places the burn and activates the burn. So definitely could cut some time off from there. But as far as what I could do to make this even better, I don't really know, to be honest. At the moment, there's probably some things, but I just can't think about them. So 13-second run, here we go. I love that the timer... Oh, wait, no. It's not... Okay, there we go. The timer stops at a weird spot. Like, that was definitely not 13 seconds because of the animations, but it did count as 13 seconds. So probably some things that can be adjusted, but this is the team. Let me show you guys the breakdown of the presets, and then we'll get into the gearing of the champions, but it's super smooth. There's no way this team fails. Like, even if we was to some reason not kill the Spider in that first rotation, it doesn't matter. Like, we have more HP burns, more activations, more big damage in general. Like, the Spider is going to die. There's no question about it. Plus, Artak is in high levels of Soul Reap, which does 14% of enemy max HP, which on stage hard mode, it's going to be capped at 10%. And I believe even on stage 20 plus, actually, it's going to be capped at 10% of enemy max HP. So even though Soul Reap can activate at 14%, it's only going to do 10% of the enemy max HP anyways. So 14 seconds there. But what we have going on, the speeds are going to be higher than you actually need. Matter of fact, let me real quick pull up Hell Hades' website and go to the stages tool so you guys can actually see what stats are going to be needed if you wanted to do stage 10 hard mode. So here we go. Hell Hades' website, stages tool, go to dungeons. We're going to go to Spider's Den and then hard mode stage 10. So if you're wanting to do this, you're going to want to shoot for speeds of at least 246. So you can go a little bit faster than the Spider. You're going to be shooting for 345 accuracy. If you have Sishia in the lead, you don't need quite as much. However, let's see what Newt's is. Okay, 80. He definitely should be in the lead, but hopefully it doesn't matter. Newt should be in the lead to give me that 80 accuracy instead of Sishia's 60. So for this team specifically, as far as the presets and speeds, keep in mind, you only need to be 246 or above. The turn order does matter in a way. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment, but you don't need to have 270 speed. I got like 290 on my Mithrala. It's not needed. However, if you can get there, if your champions are built to be that spot anyways, just go ahead and adjust to that number. So the speeds, pay attention to them here because I do have some area bonuses. So when I go into the gearing, I may forget to show it. So it is important to watch it here. So it's all going to be round 1. Spider has no more rounds than just round 1. So Sicia is 270. She opens with this A2 ability, which this is just the activation of HP burn. Artak, very similar. He's actually a little bit faster, but he also opens up with his A2 ability, which once again is just the activation of the HP burn itself. They both do have a 100% crit rate. This is mostly for Hydra stuff, not necessarily needed for this area. For Newt, he opens with his A3. He's at 261 speed. He's the last champion to go. If you have him going before the HP burn champions, if you have Mithrala on the team, what happens is she places the Hex. He kills all the Spiderlings because of the shared damage from Hex, and then your HP burn activators don't have any HP burn to actually activate. So that is something you need to pay attention to. There are some ways you could possibly adjust it to make it different, but the way I currently have it set up, that is something to be mindful of and pay attention to. Now, Newt is currently, I believe, in Savage gear, so he is hitting the max HP threshold basically all the time. Sicia is placing some extra debuffs as well, decreased defense, and I think weaken. I forget what the condition is for weaken. Yeah, so she should place decreased defense and weaken, so Newt is even safer than Ignatius. Ignatius could be Walking Tomb Dring. Basically, this is just to ensure that every champion has HP burn placed. Now, Ignatius is a little bit slower than Mithrala. The reason for that is Mithrala is going to open up, the Spirelings are going to drop, and then they're going to be missing 2 more. Ignatius' turn allows those 2 extra Spirelings to drop down. He burns everybody. They cannot be resisted, so needs no accuracy, just needs to be faster than the HP burn champions. And he places the HP burn on everybody, and then allows Artak and Sicia to be activating HP burn on every one of the Spiderlings. The Hex can still be missed. If it misses a few spiders, that's okay, not a huge deal, but you want to make sure HP burn is on every single Spiderling. So make sure a champion, whether it's Mithrala or somebody else, is going before your guaranteed HP burn champion. So before your Walking Tomb Dring, before your Ignatius, if there's any others, before those champions as well. And Mithrala is 295, opens with his A2 ability, and it's a very smooth running team. Like I said, I should probably have Newt in the lead, but as far as the accuracy goes, this is fine. We have an extra 60 from Sicia, so everybody here is perfectly fine on accuracy who actually needs it. But if you need more, put Newt in the lead. Now, you don't necessarily need Newt. You could switch in different champions. However, you probably want to have a champion hitting very hard with AoE, enemy max HP. If you had an Acrizia, that'd be fine. But as far as like other champions, maybe a Seer could possibly work. Possibly a Royal Guard who hits really hard, because here, Newt does a triple hits enemy max HP, which is massive. However, if you can't kill it from there, you could possibly do a Seer to wipe everybody out, the big spider, as well as the 2 little Spiderlings, and maybe squeeze out enough damage. With Newt, it is easiest, but if you don't have him, you could possibly try some different options. Or if you had more HP burn activation champions, that's going to be pretty solid as well. So stage 10 hard. That's my new team. Let me show you the actual gearing of these champions real quick. So Artak is in Regeneration plus Defiant. I'll show you his stats here as well, in case you want to screenshot it or whatever. As far as his skills, fully booked, masteries, there you go. Newt is built for Sand Devils, Shoguns, things like that. As far as his artifacts, let's go Spire's Den. There you go, that's his build, that's everything set up. He is in Savage plus Perception. Also works very well for Hydra. Of course, he's an amazing champion all around. Mithrala is in Regeneration plus Immortal. She's in some duo content for Spider. So when I'm not speed farming Spider, I do like to duo it with Artak. So that's currently what I have set up. These 2 champions can handle it themselves. So even if stage 10 gets a little bit sketchy, those 2 are going to handle it no problem. It's really so, hey, you got to drop a lot of energy. CVC's coming to an end, or you want to finish up a tournament pretty fast. Well, now just throw in your speed team and you're going to be good to go. So next up, Sicia. Sicia's is probably the most unique build. I'm not for sure if I've ever seen her built like this. Maybe it's not the best one, but what I have her in is a build that's more so focused on Hydra because she's in Curse gear. She has 2 AoE skills on this A2 as well as the A3. Places an HP burn on this champion and then attacks all enemies. So 2 AoE skills on relatively low cooldowns. Her A1 is not going to do AoE attack, but hopefully has a pretty good chance of actually placing the Cursed or the Hex. So on Hydra, having a Hex is very, very important. It's a massive booster in damage for sure. So if you can fit in a Curse set and you don't have a champion bringing Hex, it's fantastic. And I figure, hey, Sishi's a champion who it makes sense on, so I'll just go ahead and throw it on her and throw her into the Spider team. Initially, I was thinking, let's not even bring Mithrala. Let's just use Sicia to place the Hex on everybody. It's not that consistent. It didn't actually work. I was hoping it would cut down the turns, but it didn't, unfortunately. So that's Sicia's build. And then Ignatius, it's not really anything important. Like, he is just speed tuned. All he is faster than the HP burn champions, slower than Mithrala. He's good to go. Like no accuracy, nothing particular, just this setup. Super, super simple. Now, let's say you don't have these HP burn champions and you want to build a Spider Stage 10 hard team. This is the one I was using before. So Spider Stage 10 hard team. If you have HP burn champions, if you have a Sishia, if you have an Artak, which you should if you've been playing for a while and you're doing Spider Stage 10 hard. So bring your Artak, bring your Sishia, bring your HP burn champions, and you want to activate the HP burns, of course. That's going to drop the Spiderling's health quite a bit. It's going to drop the big Spider's health quite a bit as well. But past that, bringing a Hex champion is going to allow you to share some damage to all the little Spiderlings. So if you have a Coldheart, if you have a Septimus, if you have a Newt, it's going to help you share damage from the big spider to the little Spiderlings and actually kill them. So you're going to have the 10% enemy max HP. You're going to have the damage dealt from the Spiderlings dying. And, well, you're hopefully going to be able to just clear the run relatively easily. Now, this team right here, we have Kymar. Kymar isn't needed for other teams. This team, he is kind of needed for. But what this team does is it relies on Maneater's unkillable plus block debuffs to actually make the run pretty safe without needing to be super, super fast. So here, he places the unkillable, and we're fine. This run's going to be 100% safe. No problems whatsoever. Coldheart almost kills everything. Newt comes in with a triple hitter. A champion like Seer could just go ahead and wipe everything out, no problem. The Spider eats everything. And then Maneater, after being reset by Kymar, is just going to do his unkillable once again. So if you have a team that, you know, is slower, like maybe all your champions are below that 246 speed, well, throw in an unkillable champion. Maybe throw in an Emic. Throw in somebody like that so that you don't have to be faster than the Spider. You can be slower than the Spider. That's going to be perfectly fine. Maneater, Emic, Helicath, any champion who block damage or places unkillable is going to allow you to be slower than the Spider and not have to worry about, hey, I'm just going to wipe my entire team because I am slower than the Spider. Champions like that, fantastic. Hex, fantastic. HP burn with an activator, not just HP burn. You want to have an activator champion as well with it. HP burn just too slow. Honestly, I don't want the Spiderlings taking a turn, period. And then have an enemy max HP champions, whether that's Royal Guard, whether that's Coldheart, whether it's Seer. Seer's a very solid option. However, you got to remember, if you bring Seer, you got to bring other options for buffs because she's going to remove all your buffs. She can work, though. She's definitely a very solid champion, but you got to be careful about how she actually removes your buffs. Now you have no unkillable. Now you have no block damage. You have none of that stuff that's actually helping you out. But this team works out great. If you had champions like Sulfurion, it's going to be even easier. But really, Hex, enemy max HP, HP burn activation. Let's actually test it out real quick. So we have Hex, max HP, burn activation, and then let's do burn placing. This is going to be pretty similar to the other team I just did, actually. So let's not even do that. Let's go Maneater. So say you had actually, let's say you had Artak. So you had Maneater, wherever he's at, is in the vault. So Maneater, Artak, Newt. So here, they're all going to be faster. So with Artak being faster, I don't actually want him to start with HP burn. I want him to open with the A1 and then prioritize the burn and then activate the burn. And then I want Maneater to open with this. I want Newt to open with this, to not use that. And then Mithrala is going to open with that. So now we should be in a pretty decent spot. This really should be all you need for this run. Now I'm not for sure because it may just fail. But what we have here is Artak not opening with his HP burn because Newt is going to be doing his A3 and killing all these little Spiderlings except for the two in the back, which is good because if you kill all the Spiderlings, the big spider actually won't eat and heal up and everything that turn. She'll actually wait until the next turn. So she basically eats, heals, does a big blast every other turn. So you kind of want to make sure you do save some Spiderlings. It kind of sounds counterintuitive, but it does work out for the best for sure. So Artak should activate all the HP burns, hopefully very shortly, and then get us in a pretty decent spot. Now, if we don't kill all the Spiderlings, it's not going to be great, of course. It's going to be pretty rough. But if we can kill them, it's going to be perfectly fine. We may not. So Newt's going to do his A2 hopefully here. Okay, he does share some damage. Doesn't get to kill the Spiderlings. Artak, there we go. Perfect. I guess we had some poison activations on the big spider. So Mithrala's poisons shared damage to the little Spiderlings. So that worked out very well. It was a little bit sketchy. It definitely was. I want to try it again. But this gives you the very core idea. This is only 4 champions. You could throw another one in. But this is the core of it. Placing the hexes. Enemy max HP shared from Newt. Now, if you don't have Newt, you could try a champion like Seer. With Seer, though, you're going to strip your unkillable. You're going to make it a little bit more shaky. But it could possibly work. Champion like Coldheart isn't going to work as well because her max HP is probably not going to kill all the little Spiderlings as well. Royal Guard would be a better option. World Guard does damage to Spiralings plus damage to the big spider. All of it's going to be shared, and it should just wipe everything out anyways. So we have the HP burn placed. Mithrala would have to be fast for this because you want her to get back around to place that Hex again. Fast or have some resets, something like that. Obviously, Kymar makes this even easier. Mithrala should come up with a Hex very soon. We have 2 poisons on the big spider, so once she takes a turn, let's see. I'd rather Newt just use his A2, but I guess I have it turned off. So the big spider takes a turn here shortly. Let's see, in just a moment, when she takes a turn, all the poisons proc, kill the little Spiralings as well. Or it could be HP burn, I'm not for sure, but whatever one it is, she takes her turn, kills all the Spiralings, it's perfectly fine. So these 4 champions make it easy. You could use an Immic as well. Immic would be very similar. No real need for me to actually show that, but Immic, he'd actually be even better because he reduced cooldown. So you could use Immic in there. Any of those champions would be perfectly fine. But the main focus, guys, was this team. I felt pretty cool about this team. I thought it was pretty awesome. I love how fast, how smooth it goes. I mean, it's never going to fail. There's no way it fails. Literally, Artak and Mithrala can duo this stage with very high consistency, like 97%. So if the team was to fall apart, well, guess what? We have Artak and Mithrala, plus Artak with high Soul Reap, and Newt's going to kill the Spire every single time anyways. So I don't see a world where this fails. I could eat my words and actually fail, but who knows? Either way, guys, it's good to be back. Thank you all for tuning back in. Very much appreciated. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.